Hello, how are you? This is an emergency vlog, just in case I don't get to do one in Disneyland. And basically, I'm going to tell you my John Rocha story. Right, a good while ago, several years ago, myself and himself were in Argentina. And we were in their lake district, which is just the maddest place you have ever seen. It's like Bavaria, and it's enormous, and it's full of all these wooden cottages, like these adorable things like out of Hansel and Gretel, like fairy tales, you know, like with the pointed roofs and the cuckoo clocks, and it just looks like Nazi war criminal central, because you know the way the Nazi war criminals apparently had a penchant for South America, and you're just looking around and think the whole place must be riddled. It just looks like where, you know, they would have set up kind of an alternative country where they felt that reminded them of home. And anyway, so we were staying in this very peculiar hotel, which was full of Argentinian holidaymakers who are like Italian holidaymakers, like they're elegant, you know, and they can wear pastel colours without looking like Teletubbies. So we were there in this hotel, in this mad, huge Bavaria land, with the Argentinian glamorous, elegant holidaymakers. And one day, who did we see down at the breakfast, having his breakfast? Only the designer, John Rocha. Now, I'm going to get himself to source a picture of John Rocha so that you'll see, in case you don't know, but he is incredibly distinctive looking. Like, there was no way he was anybody else. And we were like, this is so mad. We are so far from home. We are in this, it was like planet Bavaria. And he's very urban looking, and he, you know, he was dressed in black, and the whole thing was so wildly incongruous. Anyway, so that was that, and years passed, and then recently enough, about 3 weeks ago, I was in London, and I found myself, I had some time between engagements. I like that phrase, between engagements. And I said to himself, will you come to Mount Street with me? Because there was a designer whose dresses I had seen on Net-a-Porter, and I thought they were really beautiful. And I thought they probably wouldn't suit me because of me being, you know, short and stout. But I thought, I'm going to have to, I'd like to see them up close and all of that. So we went into the shop, and it was like being in an art gallery. Like the clothes, the dresses were so beautiful. Oh, they were just gorgeous, and there were little shoes, but they didn't have them in my size because nobody ever has them in my size. Not that I'm bitter, I'm simply saying. And there were lovely handbags that were like shaped like stingrays. They were fabulous. Anyway, so we go downstairs and we're looking at more lovely dresses, and I know that they won't work on me because I'm all wrong, but you know, I'm enjoying myself. And the next thing, a door opens out of the wall in the basement, and who appears? Only John Rocha walks across the floor, kind of gives me a nod, kind of like, almost as if he recognises me, and goes out another door. And luckily himself was with me, because I said, did you just see John Rocha? And he said, I did. And so we kind of checked that we weren't hallucinating each other and that we weren't in each other's dreams and that sort of thing. Anyway, but it transpired, you see, that the designer was Simone Rocha. And I thought maybe he's her dad. I think he is. Who knows? So we were kind of laughing and saying, you know, John Rocha stalking us and this and that. So then we went off. Now, you see, at 6 o'clock we had our engagement, and our engagement was a dinner. He himself, there behind the camera, was taking me out for my dinner, and he was taking me to Nobu, which is a fancy Dan restaurant in the Mayfairs, because we'd been there once a long time ago. I don't know, well, not that long, maybe 6 months ago, and I loved it. I loved the food. I thought it was really glamorous. I thought the vibe was really international, like there was Russian people, and there was, you know, women in burqas, and there was all nationalities, and we were served by a man from Nepal, and it felt like the restaurant at the end of the universe, and I was very excited about going back, but we could only get a table at 6 o'clock, you know, which is early. But no, that's fine with me. I have my tea at 6:30 every night, so by the time the food came, it was 6:30, so it was perfect. So anyway, so we go in and we're delighted, and we're sitting down and we're looking at the menu, and you know, we're happy to be there. I'm very happy to be there. And the next thing, who appears up the stairs? Only John Rocha! Can you believe it? Is he stalking us? And so then I checked with himself that I really wasn't hallucinating. Because you see, when you've had bad bouts of mental health, you do question your sanity from time to time. So we checked, And it was him, like it was him. It was really him. And like, it's not like he could have just decided to wander in off the street. Well, maybe he could, but we couldn't. Like, we'd had to book like about a year in advance, even though we hadn't known 6 months previously that we wanted to come. What does it mean? Was it just a coincidence? It was probably a coincidence, but maybe it's telling me that I should buy a dress from his daughter, or at least the shoes, and that I could put insoles in. Would that be it? It could be it. I'm taking that's the sign. I understand now. That's what it is. Anyway, that's my story. Goodbye. I hope you're well. Goodbye. Thanks. Hello, I'm back because I forgot to say something and him there behind the camera just told me. Another part of the coincidence was, in making it up as I go along, which was out at the time that I was in London 3 weeks ago, I'd written about, seeing John Rocha below in the Argentinas. So it was all very odd. Anyway, it means I must buy the shoes, which is nice. Goodbye.